performing stocks for the week were BHP, Rio, Santos, Newcrest and NAB. Let's go now to Julia Lee for a wrap of the week and a look at the week ahead.
Alan, it was actually quite a good week for the Australian share market with a gain of 1.5%. One of the features of the market this week were the extremely light volumes. Part of that was because of the midweek holiday in the US with the Independence Day holiday on Wednesday. But the other part is school holidays, and it seems like a lot of the market on holidays with their kids. So altogether, some light volumes going through the market this week, but that didn't stop money still being made in this very slow market, and the money was in the mining space. We saw the material sector up by 2.7% this week, and the energy space up by 1.9% this week. On the flip side, though, we did see some selling in the defensive areas, so we saw healthcare as well as utilities finishing in the red. In terms of individual stocks, the best performers were all mining companies. We saw Intrepid, Mount Gibson Iron, as well as Mineral Deposits, the best performing in the ASX 200, gaining between 15 to 19% this week. But also, if we have a look at the worst performers, they were also miners. So miners, some of the best as well as the worst performers. We saw some stocks reaching fresh 52-week lows this week. In fact, Channel 10 seeing an all-time record low. We also saw Nexus, Sundance Resources seeing a 52-week low, as well as Metcash. On the flip side, though, some stocks that have been doing well are the likes of Silex, Cardno, as well as Navitas, which have all reached 52-week highs this week. So looking pretty good. In terms of drivers of the market, though, once again, we were driven by global factors. We started off the week very positively out of the news from the EU summit, but then we saw manufacturing reads coming out from all over the globe, and these were quite soft. This was followed up by central bank action, where we did see easing. The European Central Bank cutting interest rates, the Bank of England announcing more quantitative easing, and also the People's Bank of China announcing an interest rate cut as well. Here in Australia, though, rates remained on hold. We also saw some economic numbers coming out, and we saw some life in the retail sector, with retail sales in the month of May actually increasing by 0.5% and beating expectations. It's still confession season, and the good news is that we actually saw some positive confessions this week. We saw some positive profit guidances coming out from the likes of Lendlease as well as Flight Centre. On the flip side, though, a negative guidance coming out from the likes of Aristocrat Leisure. Looking at the next couple of weeks, and we will start to see quarterly production reports trickling through from the miners. Next week on Wednesday, we'll see ERA come out with its quarterly production report, followed up by Iluka on Thursday, and then the big guns really come out the week after, with BHP, Rio, Fortescue as well as Santos coming out with their quarterly production results. In terms of economic news, in Australia, we'll be watching inflation numbers on Thursday. We'll also be getting lots of numbers coming out from China on Friday around midday, and we'll get the industrial production, the retail sales numbers, as well as second quarter GDP numbers. So all up on the company news front, it's going to be a quiet week next week, but we will see some big numbers coming out of China.